Morning, daily vlogs number 2. So far I'm not suffering any of that creative burnout everyone goes on about, so that's a good thing. It's 10 o'clock, I've actually slept in this morning. I struggle falling asleep quite a lot, so if I do have one of those days I just let myself sleep in. One of those nights even, I just let myself sleep in. But anyway, firstly I've got some adult stuff to do. Make sure I do my Instagram. Got some other stuff as well. Write that blog post I never got around to writing yesterday, and then we'll do some bike maintenance. Right, so disclaimer, got no idea if what I'm doing here is right or wrong, but after a winter of slop and things like that on the mountain bike, and I want to make sure that the bearings are working properly, so I'm not going to take the bearings out of the bike. I'm just going to open them up, clean them out, and then re-grease them. Okay, so as you're taking the bits off, just literally put them down in the order that you took them off in, so that when you're putting them back on, you know basically you'll work from sort of the top to the bottom, and then when you're putting everything back together, work from the bottom to the top. So I'll show you sort of exactly the way that I've put everything down. So basically I've got everything laid out in order, so I know exactly which way it'll go on. So I started here and worked down this way, and then when I go to put them all back on, I'll put them back on in reverse. What you'll find is behind the dust covers, I don't know if the phone's going to pick it up, behind the dust covers you'll get a build-up of dirt in here, and then on the outside you get a build-up of dirt there as well. So this is the reason why I do this, basically, because this will wreck the bearings inside. So this is just 4 bearings off the bike. I've got another 2, 4, 6, another at least 6 to do. So now I've got the bearings out, basically going to get as much dirt off them as possible before I re-grease them, so that when I re-grease them I know that they're nice and clean. A pick to remove this bit, this little cover here, is nice and easy to do, and if I could actually find the pick that I brought out 2 seconds ago to do it, I would show you, but I appear to have lost it. Give us 2 seconds. Couldn't find the pick, had to get another one. So right, anyway, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the parts. Some of the parts when they're on the bike are really hard to get to, so you find that mud builds up in certain places, so I'm just going to give it all a clean so it's nice and ready to work on, and then I'm going to start doing everything else. Okay, and so this is the bit where, like I said, I've not seen anything online about it or anything like that, but this is just how I do it, rather than to try to get more life out of the bearings, rather than just replacing them every time. So obviously if they are knackered, then I don't reuse them, I'll order some more. But so the pick goes just in the side there, and I'll just pop through, then you just twist and it'll pop out. So, and then that's what you've got inside. So dust guard is minging on both sides, so we're gonna just go through and take these out. Might as well do them all at once rather than one at a time. There's a second one. There's the third one. There's the fourth one. So they do have a little piece of metal inside them as well. I'll clean it up and show you in a minute, but they've got a little piece of metal inside them. So if you're rough with them, you can bend them, and therefore they don't work properly. So when you're taking them off, just try to get down the side to pop them off,
and then just be really careful that you don't bend it when it is popping off. I'm just having a quick look through the bearings. The back ones, top ones, bottom ones, I don't know where the angle is at the minute, but they actually look quite good and quite clean. Whereas the bottom ones look a lot darker. Still plenty of grease in there. Now, the drawback to doing it this way is you can't get into the other side. Well, on this bike particularly, you can't get in the other side because it's got like a stopper that holds the bearing in place. So I just do it all from one side, and hopefully that's enough to at least give me some more life in the bearings from what they are. But I mean, that one's spinning nice. That one's spinning nice. That one's not spinning at all. That one's not spinning at all. So it seems like these two would be totally knackered. So there's a good chance that they need changing. I'm going to see what I can do with them, but the possibility is probably that there's nothing I can do and they need changing. But the back ones I know at least okay. Next step is we'll just clean the guards first of all. Just being super careful not to bend the metal inside, because like I said, once you bend the metal, you're basically right off the dust cover. So there you go, so nice and clean now. And then you can see the little piece of metal in the middle. That one's minging. Right, so I popped out the bottom, this bit across the bottom, and these now spin completely freely. So I'm thinking they're okay now. See the dirt inside. So I'm not sure what was causing the tightness. I'm wondering if this piece is slightly bent here. It looks like, if you look at it head on, it looks like it bends inwards there. So I'll get that looked into. Yeah, it looks like it bends in a bit tight, but not to worry. We're concentrating on these at the minute. So basically, next thing I do is just spray. So you can see all the gunk coming out as you're spraying. I'm just going to leave it to soak for a bit and then give it a wipe. So as I'm waiting for the degreaser to sort of penetrate the bearings and do its thing before I give it a wipe, what I'm going to do now is just give a wipe in areas that are really difficult to, and that also you get a build-up of dirt in there as well. So damp rag, I'm just going to give it a wipe, clean all the area up, and then I'll go back to the bearings. So I've cleaned up that area of the bike now, and I've allowed this to soak in for a little bit of time. So what I'm going to do is just take a clean rag and just wipe around and try to get as much of the grease out as possible and all the gunk as well at the same time. So literally just going to do that repeatedly until it's clean, and I'll save you having to sit through that and watching this. Okay, so it's fully cleaned out now, so you can see they're both super clean, both spinning nice and free as they should, so no issues at all. Maybe next time I'll replace them, but for the time being they're perfect. I'm going to wait a bit longer for this to dry off because I don't want to put more grease in if there's still a bit of degreaser in there, because it'll just eat it away. So just going to give it maybe half an hour to dry off, and then we'll put it back on the bike before doing the next one. Now the reason why I'm giving that time delay, or the reason why I'm putting it back on the bike before I move on to the next one, is at the minute it's all this section here, and the next ones to do is here and also the bottom bracket as well at the same time. So if I remove this one, I basically disconnect the whole rear triangle off the bike, so the whole back of the bike is then disconnected, and I don't want to do that at the minute because obviously I've got my chain on, I've got the gear cables, I've got the brake cables. So I'm going to put this back on first of all to give it some rigidity before I take this off, otherwise the whole back end will just go. Okay, and now you just re-grease, so you don't want to put too much on because otherwise it'll just end up clogging it up and also at the same time attracting dirt. So I usually just put like a little dab on and then just work it into the bearings. And just work around every one. Okay, so when they're all redone, just reassemble the opposite way you took off. So first thing, the caps, they should just pop in. Nice and easy back to place, provided, like I said, you haven't bent them. And once that's done, it's just a case of putting it back together the opposite way to how you took it apart. Don't forget spacers. Right, so I've given like an understanding of sort of what to do on it. The rest of it's just the same, it's just getting to it. Just getting to them is slightly different. So like I said, there's one at the bottom I've got to take the cranks off to get to, and then the other one, bottom bracket, and then also head tube. I might leave the bottom bracket and the head tube for a later date. However, I'm taking the bottom bracket off anyway, so I may just do it now. We'll just see. It's a good job I checked as well, because my cranks were like finger tight, so they'd obviously come loose at some point, but let's just do this as fast as we can, because trying to film and do it at the same time takes ages. Bottom bracket's absolutely spent. Okay, so that's going to be it for the video today. Hope you learned something. If you've got any questions or anything like that, put them in the comments below. I'm going to do the headset on another day. And also, you'll notice I took off my derailleur hanger. It's not even the right word. Chain guide. You'll notice I took off my chain guide. Basically it was broken, so what I'm going to have to do also on another day is resize my chain. But I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.